Hello and welcome to Roach Music Services, or RMS. I'm Jack Roach, and today I'll be teaching you your very first riff. So, this is part of a teaching series I want to try and start up, but it shows you, if you ever hire me through the teaching service, what to expect, and if you want to learn more, you can always hire me and we can go further from there. So, what am I teaching you today? Well, I'm teaching you most guitarists' very first riff. It's a classic, most rock guitarists love it, and that is Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. So, a little bit of backstory about the song and the band. Deep Purple, they're an English rock band, and the song Smoke on the Water was from their Machine Head album back in 1972. And the song is inspired by a fire at a casino in Switzerland, which is by a lake, hence the term Smoke on the Water. Over time, it became one of the biggest songs for guitarists to learn and to play, eventually reaching number 4 on the greatest guitar riffs ever, and it was placed 12 in the list of 100 greatest guitar rock riffs. So, a riff that with that much acclaim and titles, you would have thought would be so incredibly hard to play. Well, you'd be actually quite wrong. It's only really made of 4 notes, but it's very catchy, very repetitive, and sounds really cool when played for a lot of distortion. For example, this was played by the guitarist Richie Blackmore, and it was played through a Marshall amp, which is highly distorted. Great tone, sounds great. So, it's really simple, it's really straightforward, and best of all, it'll be your first riff to play. So, without further ado, let's get started. So as you see, it's actually really quite simple. It's only consisting of 4 notes, all on the low E string. So I'll put a tab just up here, just for you to have a visual aspect while I quickly talk over it. But it all consists of just a couple of notes, string after each other, played in repetition with a variation where you go to the 6th fret rather than going to the 5th fret. So let's break it down piece by piece. The very start, you got your open. Open is just, you don't use anything on your left hand, you just keep it completely off. You just play the string, nice and easy. Followed by the 3rd fret on the E string, which is the one usually with the dot on. Play that. Followed by the 5th, which is the one with the 2nd dot on it. You may have a dot on your 1st, but usually it's on the 3rd and the 5th. So altogether we've got, and that's more or less the start. So let's just keep moving, go on to the next one. The next phrase in this riff is more or less the same thing, but we put in that 6, that variation, like I mentioned earlier. So we go open, 3rd, 6, 5, then we go back to the open, 3, 5, so that's the exact same as the first phrase, and then to finish it all off, we go with a 3 and then an open. So realistically, we've only got 2 phrases that are different. That's the 2nd phrase with the 6 and the last phrase with the 3 to the open. The 1st and the 3rd phrase in this riff are exactly the same. So, altogether, we have what we heard earlier. So, hopefully that's a quick little rundown on how to play your very first riff, Smoke on the Water. You can come back to this video, replay it over and over again, and you can look at the tab I'm going to put up. If you can't read tab either, I might put a video up about how to understand that, or once again, you can contact me personally through Roach Music Services, or RMS, to gain an understanding further, and I can talk to you one-to-one. We can iron out any problems and kind of get to work what works best for you. So, without further ado, I thank you all for joining me on this video, and hopefully you'll learn this in no time. So, thank you, and goodbye.